Well, I hope you guys are enjoying these interviews and you are learning from these authors what they had to do to get their books done. You can include your questions in the chat box. We love to hear from you. I'm going to try and get in as many of your questions as I can. And to help me with that, I am going to bring up our next author, Sally Clark. Sally, come join me on the red carpet. So good to see you. Sally is the author of The Way of the Warrior Mama, a guide to keeping your daughter safe and thriving in your mama life. So Sally, let's just kick things off by telling people what your book is about and who it's for.
Well, like the title suggests, the book is really a guide to helping moms feel more confident and how to protect your daughter. And instead of spending all of her adolescence completely stressed out, actually feel calm and perhaps even enjoy raising your daughter.
It's so fantastic and such an important message, especially for moms of girls out there. So we should do a shout out to your girls. What are their names?
Gia and Cece.
Hi, Gia and Cece. We're glad you're here. You inspired your mom to make a difference. How awesome is that? Knowing that, like, they actually inspired you and you got it done and you get to put that book in their hands. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like your kids to put yourself out there. And I have to say that doing this program and being surrounded by other powerful authors and, with your guiding light, it really was a powerful way to harness any insecurities that a person might have, like, who am I to write this book? Well, being in a program like this, it's really a good way to say, you better believe I'm the person to write this book. And there's so many people out there, if you're doubting that, who am I to write this book? You can do it. I mean, there's nothing better than having a strong community of people to rally by your side. And yes, there are times when you're going to be out there alone, but most of the time, there's a Facebook group click away. I mean, you can voice your concerns and really make a difference.
I love that. So I was actually going to ask this question. I'll see if you have any follow-up feedback. But Ashley from Tampa is here. Hey, Ashley. Hope you didn't get affected too badly by the hurricane because that was a rough one. But Ashley is wondering, how did you overcome the fear that you can actually write a book? I know you touched on that a little bit, but what were some of the techniques that you used that helped you get over any fears about being able to finish your book?
Well, I mean, I learned a lot from the people who had already been through the program, but I think the main thing was just having weekly calls with Angela, being able to hop online with other authors and say, what do you do about writer's block? I mean, I think the main thing that was really helpful was getting into the sort of free-flowing author feeling state, which is basically just another way of saying just a way to find your own way of relaxing. And I think, Angela, you may have said this a while back, sort of how you live your life, how you react and whatever issues are coming up while you're writing the book. It's sort of a metaphor for how do you live your life in other areas. And so just, we all have our own issues and stuff would come up. And, I just knew that, if I stuck with listening to what you and others were telling me that, you can do it.
So you actually have what I think a lot of people would think of as a big advantage. Which is that you're trained as a journalist and you've done a lot of writing. A lot of people who are thinking about writing a book don't have writing experience. They don't have the training that you've had. But it's interesting because sometimes that can actually be a disadvantage. So what do you think of the pros and cons of already having writing training versus writing a book without already being a journalist or having some of those writing skills you have?
Okay, well, listen, I'm very grateful for my journalism training, and I've studied with a lot of top-notch journalists out there. I don't knock that to education. But in some ways, and I know you have a smile on your face, and rightly so, in some ways it can be a handicap because I think you almost put more pressure on yourself. And I see some of these authors with me today who don't have some big degree or in some don't have college degrees. One of the most amazing authors who's going to be on this stage very soon, Tamara. Bestselling author. I hope it's okay for me to say this. She said, I have a high school education, and she is a powerhouse. And so in some ways, a little, maybe too much education can hinder you. And also, I mean, it's easy to hide behind degrees and overthinking things. Writing a personal growth book is a pretty scary process, at least for my background. And so there's just nothing like being around people like you and other really courageous people. Norm, take charge of your cancer. Well, I mean, if anything, I mean, it might be corny to say, but I can say it's like take charge of writing a book.
Yeah.
And so you just got to go for it. And life's too short. There's nothing like approaching middle age, which I've told people, to stop playing small.
Yeah, if not now, when, right? Well, I want to show everybody this gorgeous book cover. I'm still going to have somebody make me this wreath to wear on my head, I'm convinced. The Way of the Warrior Mama by Sally Clark. You can get it now on Amazon, but here's what I want you to do. Just take a second and think about someone who is a mom to girls. What age would we say is a good?
I'd say about 11.
Maybe tweens,
Yeah.
10 to 13. Who do you know with girls that are in that middle school, 5th to 9th grade age? Who do you know that you could send the link, and all you have to do is say, saw this book, thought you might like it, it's free. And then just paste that link in there and share these important messages. So I'm going to give you that. Congratulations on getting it done. That was Sally Clark. Great job.